There's the block. There's a hole there. There's a hole there. This whole thing is cracked all the way through there. Side, there's a hole there. Hole there.
Oh yeah, buy a $107,000 truck, they said. Yep.
Going out here to start my truck. Hit the unlock button 2 times.
Cracked blocks at 49,000 miles, blown transmissions at 13,000, engines swapped at 3,000. This is what American-made looks like at GM in 2026. Let's get into it. A 2024 Silverado losing its transmission at just 13,000 miles, and in the same household, a Tahoe's ECM dying at 221 miles.
What can you say when love goes away that hasn't been said before?
Working on a 2023 Silverado half-ton with 49,447 miles. 4-cylinder turbo, 2.7. That's the new engine in there running. There's the block. There's a hole there. There's a hole there. This whole thing is cracked all the way through there. Side, there's a hole there. Hole there. Hole there. Here's a piston race pin. So yeah, I would not buy a 2.7 liter turbo engine in the half-ton pickups.
Seeing daylight through your own engine block isn't wear and tear, that's structural failure. And this isn't rare either, because Consumer Reports found this exact engine has a documented 4% catastrophic failure rate, high enough that GM had to launch an entire customer satisfaction program just to cover the cracked blocks quietly instead of calling it what it really is, a recall. Now here's a guy who genuinely thought he'd found the loophole, a 4-cylinder truck that should, in theory, dodge all the V8 lifter drama. Listen to him eat his words in real time after seeing exactly how catastrophically that 4-cylinder can still fail.
I bought a full-size pickup truck with a 4-cylinder engine, and this is why. Yes, so this full-size pickup truck with the topper is a 4-cylinder pickup truck. The 5.3 and the 6.2 having all the lifter issues, and the 10 speeds now having the recall going on. The 2.7 doesn't look too bad with the 8-speed, because with the 8-speed, there's some mods you can do that make it pretty much bulletproof. And it's funny thinking that a 4-cylinder is more reliable than the V8.
I like to take all that all back, because after seeing this engine failure on this 2.7, my gosh, the catastrophic failure that this engine suffered is insane. And the fact that pulling the cab was the easiest way to do this is insane. So yeah, I think I was wrong. This is not as reliable as I thought they were. They're all junk now. My gosh, is that bad.
And then if the emissions weren't bad enough on the diesels, GM decided that they're going to put an oil pump on the back of the engine that has to get serviced with a rubber belt. Like, what were they possibly thinking about this besides it's just a money grab? At 150,000 miles, you got to drop the transmission.
Whoever designed this little fucking turd of a truck needs their head examined. Number one, that's a motherfucker to get them transfer case bolts out. That ain't even the half of it. You can't pull a starter because the downpipe's in the way. So GM recommends that you take your torque converter bolts out through that little inspection hole. And the only reason we're even taking the transmission out of this wonderful GMC Canyon is because this here, there's the part number. This is a tone ring. This tone ring is sandwiched between the crankshaft and the flex plate. Well, what happens is this tone ring here, that's a magnet that's just glued onto this piece of sheet metal. And what happens is after about 100,000 miles, this will get a crack in it and it'll break. And once it breaks, you lose your entire crank signal or trigger, so the freaking thing won't even run. So here we are pulling the transmission. to change a $38 part. Great wisdom, GM. And we had to take the whole exhaust off to do this. There it is. DPF, SCR, everything. I don't know what's in that box.
Is the kind of decision that makes you wonder if anyone at GM has ever actually had to fix one of these trucks themselves. And Canyon owners online back this up completely, with widespread reports of exactly this kind of design flaw turning cheap, routine parts into $1,000 labor nightmares.
Oh yeah, buy a $107,000 truck, they said. Yep, CarPlay doesn't even work.
Spending over $100,000 and still not getting a working CarPlay screen is the kind of first-world nightmare that perfectly captures GM's whole vibe right now. All the price tag of luxury, none of the reliability. And speaking of expensive disappointment, watch this next one.
Going out here to start my truck. Hit the unlock button 2 times. Unlock the doors. Open the doors up. Running boards don't work. Nothing on the dash is coming on. Go ahead and climb in. Put my foot on the brake. Hit the button once. Things come on. My backup camera comes on. None of this lights up. Hit and hold the start button. Absolutely nothing works. Nothing works. Turn it off. Get out. Lock the doors. Try the remote start. Doesn't work either.
2022 GMC Yukon Denali 6.2. Quality.
Honestly, if GM wants a new slogan, quality with a question mark, might be more honest than anything currently on their website. And now let's get into the transmission drama.
So I got me a 2024 Chevrolet Silverado right here with a 10-speed automatic inside, or equipped with the vehicle or whatever. And the customer complains that he hears a humming sound coming from the transmission. And I just want to show y'all a little bit what that sounds like. So. Okay, so I got the transmission completely out now. I have it right here on my table. You know, clearly I tore it apart already. I took the filter out, and I took the valve body out so that I can get the stator out. But that grinding comes from this little gear right here, and that wears out. Same with the fluid pump right here. I don't know if you can kind of hear it. But with those two being joined together, I'm gonna go ahead and replace both of these. But this is about to be the top of the line. You know, this is a 10-speed apparently. The top of what we got, and it's just problems everywhere, you know. But we'll get it fixed. No problem. We'll get it fixed. We'll get it fixed.
GM's 10-speed transmissions across the Silverado, Sierra, Tahoe, and Yukon lineup are currently the subject of an active lawsuit investigation over harsh shifting, clunking, and total transmission failure.
General Motors will be facing a class action lawsuit over faulty transmissions. The order comes from a federal appeals court, and the lawsuit claims that over 800,000 2015 through 2019 Cadillac, Chevrolet, and GMC vehicles were knowingly sold by GM with defective 8L45 or 8L90 8-speed automatic transmissions. Customers have also allegedly complained about shuddering and shaking issues when their vehicles are in higher gear, as well as a hesitation or like a lurching problem in lower gears, even after repair attempts. The lawsuit also accuses GM of telling dealers to go ahead and just assure their customers that harsh transmission shifts were normal, and that GM would cover transmission flushes for customers experiencing the issue during the warranty period without actually fixing the underlying issue. Now, this next thing is obviously anecdotal, but I had a few vehicles with the old 8-speed transmissions, and I never had any real issues with them. The older 6-speed transmission, though,
allegedly telling dealers to just reassure customers that violent shuddering was normal instead of fixing the actual defect is corporate gaslighting on an industrial scale.
Chevy transmission number 30 of the year. We're going in, baby. 2026, we're going to do 1,000 of these.
Turning transmission replacements into a running tally like it's a video game high score is dark humor at its finest, but it also tells you everything about the scale of this problem, because when a single shop is racking up dozens of these jobs before spring even hits, that's not bad luck, that's a pattern.
All right, 2025, 1,500, 31 miles on the clock. Customer states engine performance shut off after getting fuel. However, it's a Baby Max, as you can see. Hopefully. And this is what I come out to the truck and found. That sounds very broken to me. Well, report back once I get a diagnosis. Getting down to the cam cover to inspect the timing components, and as I suspected, this cam bolt is loose. As you can see, I got the head off. Cam carrier, I don't know what the hell you want to call that thing. But yeah, we got some piston to valve contact. See some light through there, shouldn't. We also have visual marks there, there, there. And then on the engine, there's some contact points right there. Little bitty burr right there. But there's more important things.
31 miles is barely enough to get home from the dealership, and finding valve damage already baked into an engine that new means this truck was essentially born broken.
2024 GMC half-ton pickup, 6.2 liter. It's got an engine noise that was diagnosed by an engineer after I had 25 hours into it, that there's too much end play on the crankshaft. So that is the old engine there. That is a new engine. This is a 24 half-ton with 3,000 miles on it, and we got to put a new engine in it. Good stuff.
And to wrap up this whole video, let's end with a mechanic who's clearly reached his breaking point. Listen to him tear into both GM and Ford for one specific, maddening cost-cutting decision.
You know, I couldn't agree more, man. Ford and GM have fallen so far from grace. I mean, what used to be one of the most reliable, respectable, serviceable vehicles on the road is nothing more than a fantastic plastic hunk of junk, if I put it politely. Just a bunch of computers and a bunch of bullshit that nobody asked for. And this one, as you can see, it's a new body style. Guess what I had to do to it? An engine. Already. Truck ain't even 4 years old. Already needs a motor. But that's not the only thing, right? It wouldn't be so bad if they were as serviceable as they used to be. You know, the old Silverados, you could yank the motor out of that thing in an afternoon and give it back to the customer before lunch. Not this fucking pile, man. They have engineered these things. I'll show you. It's just that's nonsense, man. There's just so much bullshit in the way these days. And I kind of wanted to, I was putting this back together because this truck refuses to leave, man. I'm going to make another video about that. But as I'm going through this and working on these new vehicles, it just baffles me how much these automakers are cutting corners and cutting costs just to protect their bottom line at the expense of the consumer and the technician. And here's a perfect example of GM and Ford's corporate greed. They have eliminated belt tensioners. My other technicians will know exactly what I have here in my hand. And for those of you who don't, this is a stretch belt. And the stretch belt is exactly what it sounds like. You got to stretch the motherfucker to install it. And GM decided to put not one, but two. So when you consumers are going in to have your belt replaced and you wonder why labor's so high and why it's taking so goddamn long when it used to take 30 seconds to swap a belt on a 5.3 Silverado, that's why, because GM decided to save 11 cents per unit by not installing a fucking belt tensioner. So now you need special tools, and you got to hold your tongue just the right way and close your eyes and pray you don't fucking break it when it's going on, because you literally destroy these when they go on. You cannot reuse them. Say your alternator goes out, your AC compressor, water pump, any of these accessories on your engine fails, and you want to take your belt off and replace that part and put the belt back on, no the fuck you're not. These are a one-time use. GM and Ford tell you that you have to replace those every time you take them off. Good luck getting them off. I mean, most of the time I just cut them off because you got to replace them anyway. But I mean, what the fuck, man? Seriously, like, what happened to the serviceability of vehicles? It's absurd. I get, you know, the bean counters are saving GM a ton of money doing this shit, but at what cost? You know, just fuck us and we're just supposed to roll over and accept it? Being a technician these days, man, the shit is not looking good.